Hi, I'm Allan. Welcome to Conversations with Allan. It's good to be back with you again. Over the past few conversations, we've been walking through the 5 things that I evaluate in any brokerage model. We started with compensation, next was professional development, and last time, support and infrastructure. Today, I want to talk about leadership, but not organizational charts, and not titles, and not who's in charge. I want to talk about influence, because after 35 years in this business, I've come to believe something I didn't fully understand early on. The greatest leaders don't simply tell us what to do. They change the way we think. When I look back over my career, I can point to just a handful of people who genuinely changed its direction. And here's the interesting part. Very few of them did it by giving me answers. They did it by asking better questions. Questions that challenged assumptions I'd been carrying for years. Questions that made me stop, rethink, and eventually grow. Looking back now, I realized they weren't trying to change my decisions. They were trying to change my thinking, because they already understood something. Once your thinking changes, your decisions follow on their own. This is one of those lessons I honestly didn't appreciate until much later in my career. When I was younger, I was always looking for answers. Today, I'm way more interested in finding people who ask great questions. There's a big difference, and it took me years to understand it. Here's one of the most important things I've learned along the way. The quality of your thinking is heavily shaped by the people you spend your time around. That's true in business, it's true in leadership, and I believe it's true in life. Eventually, we all begin to think like the environments we've chosen. That's why leadership has become one of the 5 things I evaluate so carefully. I no longer start by asking, who's the broker in charge? Or who's the CEO? Those are fair questions and they matter, but they're not the first ones I ask anymore. Now I ask something deeper. Who is going to influence me and the way I think over the next 10 years? Will I be surrounded by people who challenge me, who encourage me, who stretch me? People who help me see opportunities that I would have walked right by on my own. Because eventually, that's what leadership really is. Not authority, but influence. Every environment teaches you something. That truth isn't optional. The bigger question is, what is it teaching you? Is it teaching you to think bigger, or simply teaching you to think the same? That may be one of the most important questions you can ever ask yourself, because your future is shaped long before it's visible. Think about that. It's shaped by the conversations you have, the ideas you're exposed to, and the people you choose to learn from. This is probably a good place to say something personal. When I think about the people who've had the greatest influence on my career, I'm just grateful for the time I spent with them. Some of them probably have no idea how much they changed the way I think, but they did. And I hope that every one of us has people like that in our lives, because none of us grows alone. When I look back over my career, I don't remember every transaction. I don't remember every award or recognition I received. I couldn't tell you what happened at most of the sales meetings, but I remember the people who changed the way I thought, because they changed the way I led my professional life and ultimately They changed the direction of my whole career. So here's my question for you. Who has had the greatest influence on the way you think as a real estate professional? If someone comes to mind, I'd love for you to tell me about them in the comments. I read them, and those are some of my favorite conversations that come out of these videos. Next time, we'll reach the fifth and final area, long-term opportunity. It's the one that, over the years, has come to matter to me most of all. And it's where everything we've talked about so far finally comes together. Until then, I hope you build your career on purpose. I'm Allan Nanny. I'll see you in the next conversation.